Hello everybody, welcome back into the channel. Grant on CBT today in the Cessna Citation Jet 525, the older version, not very modern avionics, bit of analog, bit of digital in there as a mix. We're going to be flying from Biggin Hill in the London area, UK today, up to probably, I initially thought it was going to be Bruges or Belgium, but then I realised it's actually, it is Bruges, not Belgium. It's Bruges, if that's how you pronounce it, in that sort of part of the world, near Holland, I guess. Not very good on the geography of the area. Right then, so out here on the ramp, let's go ahead and bring up the flight planning thing. So we're in the Golf 525 Sierra today, rather than the Grant livery. I think this is a livery in the thumbnail, so forgive me if it isn't. Lovely looking weather. I have been doing some practice. I have been trying to get back to grips with the aircraft again after a quick break. Last night, though, some circuits quickly got back into the swing of things, and yeah, it still flies alright. I think the DME issues are still there, and there's still some persistency there with the Torquesim 525, but overall pretty good. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of preparation externally. Now, I am going to be doing the checklist, but I won't be doing it visibly, so I'll be following it in my mind, of course, because I've memorised it. So we'll go ahead and remove some of this stuff, and we'll hop in the plane and just check it out, see what's going on inside. Let's look at the colours inside first and foremost. So we've gone from that dark black colour last time to this sort of light cream, and we have in fact got, surprise, surprise, we've got some people on board, so we're going to open up these shutters here. If you remember the last flight we did, this gentleman's dog had gone missing, and unfortunately I can't find it, so it looks like they got rid of it. Still got this old bloke back here, not the most interesting characters, I have to say. The pilots are a little bit mundane as well. We're going to remove the... This is actually a sunscreen cover, and then this sign here. Right, now we've done that, we can... In fact, you know what, let's just do some pre-flight checks before we do any of the flight planning stuff. So we're going to go in, we're just going to scan the instruments here, make sure everything is off. We're not expecting the GPU start today, so we can have the generators on. Usually if you have a GPU start, you would turn these generators into the off position like this. And then of course disconnect the GPU and then turn the generators back on or something like that. Everything else is off. The control locks are in. So usually with the control lock, that is also known as a gust lock. This will prevent the control surfaces moving around in wind and things or stormy weather. But today it's you can see it was in place, it's now off. Everything else looks like it's in an off position, minus the standby gyro, actually. That's interesting. I did turn that off last night. So this is why we check the instruments. The landing gear lever is down. The parking brake is set. Everything else looks like it's in the off position. Now, one of the things I have been doing is disconnecting the battery from the plane. I've been getting into the habit of doing it recently, just in case somebody decided to take it, which is, I guess, the only reason. There are multiple reasons, really. To stop it from draining would be another one, but to stop it from being stolen is probably the primary one. Look at that picture. Wow, fantastic. Anyway, plane's in good flyable condition. Let's get the flight plan up. So I'll bring it up in the window. Window should pop up for you guys momentarily. And for me as well. We should be able to see the flight plan together. So here, I've had to use SimBrief. We don't actually have a profile or any performance charts for this Torquesim 525. So we had to use the SimBrief to get those performance charts. In other words, that's going to give us the amount of fuel we need rather than having to calculate it ourselves. So it's in about 741. So we go back onto weight and balance. We've already got enough on board. 789 plus on each engine there, and that's block fuel 740. So we've got well and truly enough fuel there to get there. Plus it is going to be a return trip, so when we get to Bruges we'll do a quick turnaround and we will return back to Biggin Hill. So we could times that out to just say we need about 1400 1500, I'd say, rounded up 1500 of fuel. So we're going to do that. We're going to put 1500 in if we can do. Oh, we can do. So we might as well actually just go with, I can't put the exact number in because Torquesim haven't, and I don't know why they haven't done this, but they haven't put boxes in to type the numbers in. We are outside the centre of gravity, so we're going to pull the cargo back here. Now, again, this might be a case of refueling in Bruges actually, rather than taking it all at once. So there we go, we're going to take 1200 instead. We could just put the 300 when we get there. It's cargo 115 and about 100 in the front. That's the weight and balance out of the way. Go back to the flight plan. So just double check everything. The date is right, 23rd of March 2026. Biggin Hill, Ostend, so Bruges Ostend Airport, if that's how you pronounce it. 23rd of March, check. Release. There's not going to be any CI today. Cost index. We've got cruise level 190, so step climb of 21,000 to, and then descending actually to 19,000. Interesting. Very interesting. DVR2, DVR. Just looking through here, just look at what we've got on board. So pack 6, it says 6 packs, but I usually take the 2 pilots and the 4 packs on board, so I guess that would be 6 altogether. Cargo 150, let's just check what we've got. Cargo is 150. Crank it up a little bit there perhaps, or a little bit down actually. 100 there, and then maybe 50 in the nose. 50 or 60 in the nose would be absolutely fine. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. I'm spending too long in the flight plan. I have visualized it. The sky vectors as usual, so it's about 107 nautical miles there on a course of 1092. Calm weather today with probably mild winds. Right, that's literally all we need to do. I'm running a little bit late on the flight, so we're supposed to be departed by 1:45, but doesn't matter too much. So Golf 525 Sierra, we're in a type CJ 525, was it C525? Yeah, so C525 Citation Jet 1. Brilliant. Let's hop in there, we can get started, we can do those checks, and we could probably get out of here pretty quickly. It looks like we may just miss our stormy clouds up there. We're fully loaded, as I say, we don't need the GPU, so we may as well get our doors closed and things. Open lock. And now they did change this. In fact, just before we do that, one of the things I noticed is, since last time, even though I missed it on the last video or stream, when you take the covers off the engines now, it will no longer be making that sort of clicking and metal rattling sound, so I don't know why they got rid of that. It used to be very, very audible and you could hear the fan circulating, but now there's absolutely nothing. Right, we're going to lock the door. Hop in the cockpit, make sure everything's done. I've now assigned a key, thankfully, to your damper. And again, going back to the batteries, so it is connected in the back. There's also this switch down here, which I've been disconnecting. If you don't connect it back up, it means there'll be no power to the aircraft. Here we go, battery on. We're going to get some of the information first. We are on the network, but I don't know if there's going to be ATC. It doesn't look like there is at the moment. Let's tune in to 122.8. And I do need to get myself like a little radio stack here so I can do it with my hands rather than with the mouse and keyboard. Right, we're going to do that. We're going to get that back off again. We're going to go down here, do the standby gyro test on. Let's check the emergency power. Good. Since there's no ATC, we're going to randomly squawk today. We also can't put the flight plan in until we start the engine, so we've really not got much choice in this plane. If you put it in and then you turn the power off, the avionics off for the engine start, it will delete it, so I suggest just waiting until the engines are on. Anyway, we need to get some lights. Let's get the nav lights on. We could use the wing inspection lights. They've now made them a little bit better. They have, in fact, made them visible, so if we could just go outside. We can barely see them in the daytime, but they are illuminated. Ah, you can just see it on this side. So the light is now illuminating, whereas before it was completely off. We don't need the wing inspection lights on. I'm going to set the beacon on in advance. We could check a few of the systems here, like pitot heats. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do the enunciation checks and all these things up here to make sure all the systems are functional. I have got the volume kind of turned down on the stream, so if it's a little bit too quiet, just let me know. I can always adjust it with a headset. And let me know what works best for you guys. Just crank it down a little bit. I actually do prefer the other livery. The other one I was in was black in the cabin, and it was just a little bit darker in the cockpit, but they've added more wear and tear. It does look a little bit dirtier down here. Right. Angle of attack.
Store warning test is functional as usual. Welcome in, by the way, also new subscribers, new viewers, and just generally new friends of aviation simulation. Flight gear was one I started on and I moved on to X-Plane 12. Okay, that's so good. Enunciation panel test is complete. That's literally it. It's such a basic plane that getting it started is very, very quick. So we can go for an engine start on number 1. Well, excuse me, number 2 on the right hand. Let's get the ignition on. We wait for the all clear. The control locks off. We can see the turbines coming alive. The fan is spinning. So let's go ahead and introduce fuel. 14 degrees outside. It's actually not too bad today. Beautiful, beautiful plane. I do enjoy this plane a lot. I think they've nailed some of the flight characteristics of it really, really well. Right, so that's actually really quick start on the right engine. So let's go for a left. As you can see, coming alive. We wait for the fan to be spinning and then we introduce fuel. It is a little bit slower now. I've noticed it's slowed down since they updated it. No longer starts, super, super quick. Avionics and things will come on in a second. Okay, one thing that they did update actually was the sound announcement down here. It's now super, super quiet. It doesn't seem to matter how loud I put this. It's just, compared to before, like you can't hear it at all. But now, I feel like they've gone a bit too quiet on it. Let's go play. I can just about hear it, but it like I say, compared to before, it's just a massive. I don't even know what the word is. Massive disappointment, I think. Okay, automatic on the air conditioning. Now, I have talked a little bit about the air conditioning on this plane before, about the temperature selects and things, and it hasn't actually been modelled 100% realistically. So, usually in the plane, in real life, you could hold it up to hot or cold, but on this one, the button stays and the switch stays in position. It wouldn't actually do that. You would have to hold it up in order to do it. But anyway, you'd only do it for a few seconds, and then it would heat up or cool down. The dial here also needs to be moved in advance. If you expect it to be super cold, move it up maybe a couple of minutes before. 10 minutes might be enough, but for now we're going to keep it 12 or 1 o'clock because it is pretty warm outside. We don't need window wear, we don't need anything like that. Let's crack the avionics on. Inverters at the same time. Now we're going to crack the UNS on. This is different to an FMC and a McDo. Universal like flight management system down there. We'll wait for it to charge up. As I say, we're going to be IFR today, so we're going to squawk a random code. So we'll do 2410. That'll be fine. Test both of them. I will leave them on standby there until we get to the active runway. Although to be fair, we do need them on ground mode, and we do need to get the QNH as well. And there's literally no ATC, so we're probably good to just use X-Plane 12 map. Let's go over here. It's got 1020 on the QNH. High pressure, high temperatures. 1020. And porter cage on the instruments. Now, has that passed? Yes, it has. So we go down here. Flight plan, right. I have to remember what the name of this airport is. I hope it's easy to remember. So it's called EBOS. That's fairly easy to remember, I think. Destination, you should be able to see it now. EBOS. Actually, I can't remember how to do this. Give me a sec, guys, to sort of get with it a little bit. We go for departures first, don't we? That's it. Departures, so runway 21 is expected.
Our traffic is into landing runway 26 at 5 miles.
And we have a DVR 2. There's no transition there. We will look at the charts as well. Okay, brilliant. That's how you do it. So it's coming back to me pretty quick, and then from the DVR, it seems like we got a few waypoints. I want to bring it up in the Avitab, so let me just download it. Download the flight plan. It is very cool, this heavy tablet as well. If you don't have it, I do recommend it for the X-Plane 12. X-Plane 12 outputs, FMS plans. There it is. This is our flight plan. Okay, so there. So from the departure DVR L9, we're going direct to Conan. And to that, it may come up with 2 or 3 options when you do that, because there may be multiple, you know, countries with the same waypoint or different waypoints at different places. Usually can't enter the airway, so we can just do direct to the cock again. Direct to oh no, it's a corporate flight, and then direct to the arrival. I haven't actually been to Bruges before, so I don't know what the procedures will be. Don't know if it'll be an RLS or an RNAV, for example, or just a visual approach. Hopefully it's visual. We might be able to do some hand flying. Okay, now that's done, it's coming up with departure, flight plan summary. We haven't really entered much in there, to be honest. If we go, like, we could enter reserve fuel and minimum fuel. Let's enter... no, we can't enter minimum. Let's go back to the flight plan. Over here is the instruments. Close the chart. FMS mode, and then we can change that to full map. As you can see there, the line is popped up for the departure. I'm going to use that for the flight out of here. Bring up the departure charts as well. Okay, go Kilo Bravo. It's not my actual base at Biggin Hill. I was going to set it there. My actual base is at Guernsey, but I do have aircraft based here at Biggin Hill as well. Okay, we've got the airport chart. We could do a track outbound if we're just doing a visual departure. In fact, we don't even have departures, we just have arrival. That can't be right, can it? That's very odd. Usually when it doesn't have certain things, it'd be everything, but today it doesn't have departures. I'm gonna say maybe it's in like another chart here, maybe we can see where we're going. No, I have no idea. Right, well anyway, we need to taxi. We're going to be taxiing today via Lima, and then it'll probably be Alpha. So Lima Alpha, we'll have to hold at Alpha 3. Technically this is when you enter the active runway, and then we'll go to Alpha 1.
Runway 27 right, 7.5 miles final.
We don't have the charts, so I don't know what the speed or limit things are.
Runway 26 left, taxi to hangar 11.
Okay, we will give a call out. We don't need the weather radar on. We do need to get our taxi lights on. They're already on for some reason. I swear I switched them off last night. We'll get mode Charlie on the transponder. Beacon lights, nav lights are on. The door is secure. This is just for the pitot heat. Attenuator unlock is normal. It should be on automatic. We can test it as well. It doesn't really do much. Hey, brilliant. Close that. Close that. Let's just bring up briefing before we get going. So, pre-flight briefing. The aircraft type Citation Jet 525 by Torquesim. Flight plan was filed on SimBrief in the network. The 8 information we haven't got yet. I'll get that on the hold short point to the runway. The weather is clear. There hasn't been any NOTAMs. Fuel and payload is on board. We've put more than we need on fuel. We're just going to get the 300 we need. When we get there, that'll be £300. Departure briefing. We've just talked through the departure. There is no departure charts today, so we'll have to rely on the FMS and the UNS management in the aircraft. The taxi route, as we say, will be down Alpha to Alpha 3, hold short, and then we'll get to Alpha 1 for runway 21. And we'll talk through the takeoff configuration and things when we get to the runway. Cool. Seats back, locked, secure harnesses, parking brake released. A little bit of lag today compared to yesterday. All clear on the controls, rudder and ailerons and things. We're going going to do a right hand turn here down the taxiway. Let me turn this aircraft down for you all. It is slightly loud. And of course the speed calculations, we'll do that when we get there as well. Yesterday I had about 106, 107 with a full load on board, so it's probably going to be the same today. Usually you'd set minimums when you land on this kind of a plane. You could probably set them on takeoff as well if you wanted to. It does go up to about 2,000 feet there on the radio altimeter, so here's Lima 2. Let's go ahead and get the call out. Biggin traffic Golf 525 Sierra, taxiing runway 21 by Juliet Alpha. Let's get the lights on in the cockpit. Let's bring it alive a little bit, it's a little bit dark. So straight across, Alpha 4. Now Biggin Hill is a strange airport, it'll sort of tilt you up and then when you get over to a certain point it'll be all downhill. So by the time we get to Alpha 1 we'll have to go back up the hill to get holding short, if that makes sense. We'll turn our heading bug to runway 21 as well. No need to worry too much about the actual direct course, we can just put it on 21 as a guess. Brake check is good. Looks like we got a rogue fuel truck there. Typical really for business charters to come across something like this. We'll let him go and we'll continue on. Who is that by the way? Is that Aviation? I think that is just Avgas, isn't it? Just trying to get a drive-by here, but it's not really doing it. Camera's too far away. Just about see him. That is a cool looking plane, isn't it? You got a bit of rough weather here, right? We're not quite clear of all the electrical stuff and explosive stuff. See here we got this like station, so we don't really want to put a weather radar on until we're past it. I do want to put it on though because we've got some, as I say, clouds there and some rough weather building up, which is sort of where we're flying. You can put it on standby, but I would recommend just leaving it off until you're clear of it. Around here, then Alpha 3. Technically, when we get to Alpha 3, we can, if there was ATC, we may be getting like clearance at this point to enter the active, because this is, as I say, classed as it. So I could put my strobes on at this point. But let's go ahead and do that. Strobes are coming on. And as you can see, it's going super fast because we're going downhill. And here's the point. So this is sort of like the point of when things change. So we're going to continue downhill. And as you can see, there's a slight bump. Slight bump there in the taxiway. This is where it changes as well. Just little things like that will make flying around the airport and just travelling to these airports a lot sort of easier. You'll understand the terrain a bit better, rather than being surprised, because I know X-Plane 12 does have a tendency to make some of the airports like roller coasters.
8 miles from runway, Heathrow.
Okay, down the old one. And I didn't check the cruise altitude. I think it was, well, I did check it. It was 21,000, and then it says down to 19,000. Let's go ahead and set 19,000. Excuse me, 21,000. There we go. So there's Alpha 1. Plug it back on. Takes the lights coming off. We set the pressurization to 21,000 feet. If we go back to the flight plan, you can see here we have by Conan 19,000, which is there. Well, before that, straight up to 21, so probably climbed up and then climbed down again. Going across, we want top of climb, 21,000 feet, 342 at 30.30. It's quite strong winds, and then minus 24 degrees, so we will need, obviously we're going to need anti-ice at that altitude, but I just sort of wanted to see what it was at. That's it. Transponder to altitude mode. We've got our strobe lights already on. We're going to set 1 notch of flaps, so take off and approach mode. Switch over to the co-pilot. Now we're going to put the weather radar on. We're going to put it onto standby and then test. We're going to do when we get clearance for departure, we'll do our continuous ignition and our pitot heats on. Window heat isn't needed. Okay, so there's, in general, clear, but there's still something coming up on the radar there to be concerned about. Landing lights on, flaps are set. Let's set the GA button on there so we can go and pitch up correctly. Flight controls, free and correct. You know what, let's do navigation mode and vertical speed mode instead, and we'll set a target of about 1,500 feet a minute. We get up the departure briefing. Okay, so takeoff configuration, we're going to take off with 1 notch of flaps today in takeoff approach configuration, which is normal for this plane. We're going to be expecting a thrust setting of about 96.8. It's very difficult on this plane to get it precise, so we'll do as best as we can.
505, we're going to make a left turn heading 230 from landboard and continue direct to the Charlotte Foxtrot from 27 right.
And we'll rotate about 106 and climb out at V2 plus 10, maybe 5 knots, something about 115 knots there, plus, and the speed will just accelerate as we get higher up. So that's the takeoff configuration. If there's any expected issues, well, the expected issues may be a little bit of turbulence, rough weather. If there's any issues before takeoff, we'll stop and exit the runway. If there's an engine failure, we'll stop before we take off and of course clear the runway. But if it's after takeoff, we'll make back for runway 21. I think that's everything covered. We should be good to go at this point. We're going to give a call out. 22.8. Parking brake released. Biggin Hill traffic, Golf 525 Sierra, departing runway 21, DVR 2 departure. Now we're going to need that extra power, so you'll see now we're going to be turning uphill to runway 21. Beautiful, beautiful day to go flying, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. That's the one thing about X-Plane 12, it might not capture the scenery too well, but it certainly captures the airports and the weather really, really well. I think this is probably as realistic it's going to get, to be honest, compared to many things. Right, strange departure, so we're going forward and then to the left. A very odd departure. I think I've flown this one before. And advance the throttle, so we're going to do continuous ignition, pitot heats on. I was coming up 96.8. Unit brakes on for the departure. Okay, thrust is almost there. Power brakes released. Okay, let's Let's just hold on a sec. We had a warning coming up then. Let's try it one more time.
Is Jet 830 for Yankee Lima, video check.
Brakes released. Airspeed is alive. 60 knots. He's back on the yoke. Rotate a little bit early. Positive rate gears coming up. Do yaw damper on. And this is why this is a strange departure. I thought this was what we had to do, so we do in fact have to do a U-turn here. So we're going to do flaps up. Continuous ignition can come off at this point, but the P to stay on. We're also going to turn off the landing lights. And there we go, we've got a turn now, so turn to the right. Continue climbing, and we aimed about 1500 feet a minute. Although realistically we're about 2000 feet a minute. Tiny jet when you compare it to Citation X as well. Still love it, lovely plane. This is a great place. I was on it last night, and when you go away from the sim for a couple of weeks like I did, it just looks so fantastic when you come back, especially in sunny weather. We are turning very steeply, but it'll be alright. We didn't put the passenger seat belts on, but they know what to do in this kind of situation. They are paying for it after all. There we go, nice steep climb out. We are a little bit off course. We're going to go ahead and enter the autopilot mode. So we have got about 2000 feet a minute climbing. We can actually increase the thrust now if we need to. Now we're going to preempt the temperature drop by increasing the cabins. The cabin's a little bit increased already, and that will heat it up in advance. There she goes.
Short final landing runway 27 right, final call, short traffic.
Just turn it down slightly more. I appreciate last stream that the aircraft was very quiet. My voice is very loud, so I've tried to balance it out this time. Okay, so we are clear of the airport. Technically we're getting up to sort of standard pressure. We didn't even set local pressure, but I don't think it'd be the end of the world if we don't. Oh, actually we did, sorry, it's 1020. But 6,000 feet is probably enough for the transition. There's the departure, so DVR, again, no charts for it, so I have no idea what the restrictions are. There's the Detlin DME. And then it'll be straight over the channel. And on to Bruges. So as I'm aware, as I say, we don't have arrivals, but we can look up the airport. So EBOS category, oh, it has got an ILS, so 2.6 and 8. 1021 on the Q&A. You've got a few arrival procedures. I'm really surprised Simbrief didn't give me one, but I suppose if it's saying runway 26. A few market things, de-icing area, ground movement, hotspots. Okay, now it's saying login, so something's gone wrong on the login. Providers. Oh no, I am logged in. Yeah, absolutely bizarre. Please don't tell me we're gonna have to. Oh no, so we got no charts here as well, it's just not working for some reason. Great, we got no charts. I'll have to look them all up online possibly, or maybe even use Explains Files map. So there's Detling DME, that's where we're flying. There's the DVR, the Dover VOR. So what we could actually tune those in. We could tune, you know, we should have probably tuned them in because we had them on the flight plan. So if we tuned Detling, we would have been following that. Let's tune Dover though, 11495. 114. Okay, so it's pointing towards it. That's typically what you'd be doing in real life as well, I suspect. There's also an airport down here I flew to last night, this plane, which is actually a really cool little airport. It's down here, Elfat. The 2K Côte de Bali. I have no idea how to say it. But a great little airport. I'm going to fly about there, I think, in this plane. And then, of course, below it we've got some of just well-known airports. It's sort of up towards the Netherlands and towards Amsterdam, where we're heading. Okay, speed is good. As you can see, we're maintaining that. We can put more thrust in, so speed, you know. You see there, put it up to about 100 if you wanted to. Put our engine sync on. So we're going to do the checklist now for the climb, cruise checklist, etc. Anti-ice can come on. You probably do need all of them on, I think. Wing X-Flow is kind of optional, but I like to stick it on anyway. Windshield stuff, again, optional. It rained a little bit last night. There's a specific thing down here for rain, and that will spray it onto the windshield, but we don't need it. Okay, so by Conan, 19,000 feet. Still not at 21,000, we're climbing at 2,000 feet a minute. If you do own this plane as well, let me know what you think. Is it any good? Do you like it? Is it possibly a bad plane? I love it. I love flying in it. I think it's worth the time and effort sometimes. You see there, green arrow pointing towards the Dover VOR, DVR. The distance as well is in fact coming up, so it hasn't been working because I've been noticed actually one of the things that's been happening is navigation 1 will appear on DME 2, but today navigation 1 is appearing on DME 1, so yeah, very interesting. So 28 nautical miles, that's correct. We can cross check it with the FMS distance, 6 minutes to 245 knots, so that will be ground speed. Sorry, ground speed is about 250, so this must be like true airspeed possibly. And again there it's changed a little bit, so it does keep cutting in and out. Just a little note there for Torquesim team if they are watching. Okay, we're going to slow that ascent rate down to 1500 feet a minute. And we'll probably cruise today about in this range here between 220 and 250 indicated airspeed or knots. And now we're sort of coming over the channel as well. I'm going to change it to... Okay, so it's GMT, and then usually when you say local time, it'll change. So that'll change to 1 hour ahead when we get into France. ET is just a flight times the amount of time we've been on the plane, and 21 minutes is not too bad actually. And then ET can be used for time and things. So we'll leave it on local time, and it should change 1 hour ahead. There's some feet to go. Fuel flow, even though it doesn't come with performance charts, I have been sort of noticing it's generally between £500 and £600 an hour, and that's kind of what we're getting now. In case you want to calculate the fuel yourself, so I guess you could base it on 600, on the higher end of £600 an hour per engine, so about £1,200 an hour. There's 21,000. We're going to reduce. Let the speed build up and then reduce that power, probably to not too much actually today, maybe about 95% or something, quite a high setting. So there you go, let's just reduce it ever so carefully. And we'll see what that gives us on speed. So leave it 93.7 for now. Perfect. I think that's perfect setting. Speed is still building up actually. Let's go down a little bit more. So maybe at 90, 99. Yeah, I think 90 is perfect. No ATC at the moment. I'm just looking at the ATC thing. So there's nothing there. They got obviously ATC at Amsterdam as expected. It's a real shame about the charts though. I was hoping to have them. Ah, there's our airport as well. So we've got a few things there we could use. 26 is for the arrival. We've got a few NDBs there. Let's use this one. Much in the ILS as well, since we've got no charts available. Again, we're going to have to use this because we haven't got the functional Firefox. I think ChartFox, excuse me. I think somewhere around here or wherever there's fuel available to make it realistic. This could be our alternate, and we are actually flying towards Cock as well, so yeah, we'll make do with that. Excuse me for a minute, everybody. I'm just going to step away from the cockpit. Be back in a minute. Okay, I've returned, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Right, there's Conan. I think that's the point where we start to descend again. So we go back down to 19,000 feet. And we probably won't adjust the pressure or the throttles too much. So let's do a nice steady descent. There is a little bit of turbulence. Do about 1,000 feet a minute. Again, not reducing the power too much because the plane, you know, even though it's got jet engines, it is pretty small and it's not the most powerful jet engines on it. I haven't, again, there's not really much documentation with this aircraft. I'd say none at all. So you don't really know performance thing. You don't really know like the thrust on the engines, which is something you would expect. You would at least expect a specification sheet. I digress again. I think Torquesim just needs to up the game a little bit, is what I'm trying to say. Flight Simulator weekends just happened as well in Amsterdam, I believe. I hope anybody who went there had a good time. It's certainly interesting to see all the new developments we've just had on Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is where all the development is. We've just had a new caravan by Black Square, and no doubt, I think they're bringing a new site, a new jet out as well at some point. We'll wait and see. Right, I'm just gonna plan for an ILS on this one. Go back down here to, as you can see, it's going to have us go direct to the airport. We can plan an arrival here for runway 26. Again, it's giving us stars, but I really wish we could see these. I'll be honest, I really want to be able to see them so we can plan it out. Nothing's happening on it. Unfortunate for today's flight. We can't really do. I guess we could do Cock 6 Alpha because we're flying to that one. Let's do that and then see what happens for the ILS runway 26. So it's given us all them. We did have Ono in the arrival, so Ono 1 perhaps. I see, so it's going to go from Ono to ILS Delta. I'm just going to delete all these blank spaces. Times like this, when I wish it looked a little bit clearer. Too much in the UNS sometimes. It's got too much crap in it. You can see all this writing and numbers and stuff. It doesn't really contribute much. You just need these smaller ones at the numbers where it tells you to fly. Anyway, we got a little bit of distance, about 30 nautical miles there. So we're going to come down to the Cock, to the Arno, and then it looks like we've got a U-turn for runway 26. Let's get descending. Then we'll go down to about 6,000 feet. And we'll descend about 1,800 feet a minute. Yeah, so the Arno is the NDB. I've just tuned that in before if you saw me do it. So Cox is like the VOR, and then the ONO is the NDB, and that'll be the U-turn. So runway 26. Fantastic. There's low traffic. There's a little bit of stormy weather, a little bit north of there. Antwerpen has ATC as expected. Schiphol Airport has it as well. In fact, looking at the flight path we've done so far, I'd say even though there's no ATC, we've done pretty damn well. We've not really broken any speed limits. We've not really done any excessive sort of outbound turns. Departure from Echo Golf Kilo Bravo was pretty smooth. Just looking at it now on the map. Okay, we're a bit closer than I expected. We'll get the QNH, so 1021. I'm tuning in now, 1021. Okay, landing speed. So it's given us 107. This is where I'll probably use this thing. I prefer it on landing rather than takeoff. So 107. That's the exact same speed I landed at last night, which is interesting. So So 107. Then we're going to go down here to the minimums. This is actually now an audible announcement. So when we get to 200 feet, it will say minimums. That centre fix there doesn't. I don't know. That's just very odd. It's a very odd approach. This in general. We do need to do the approach checklist again. There is one with it, but I know it off by heart. It's a very basic checklist. So we're going to keep the anti-ice on until it gets above 10 degrees. And we'll just do the continuous ignition on final as we did on departure. Because we're going to put our landing lights on as well. I'll probably do that when we get to the O&O. Still looking pretty clear though on the web radar. Let's tilt it down a little bit. We'll keep it neutral actually and see what happens on the web radar. See if anything changes. I'll admit though the web radar is not too impressive either. I said it before on the last video. Even though they updated it and brought it into the aircraft, it's still very, very small and it doesn't really stand out. I think if they put it higher up, it would have been better. It would have been easy to see it, or maybe even stuck the web radar, a different kind of web radar in there, made it bigger, just like to fill the whole space up. Because this is like, sure you can see it, but it's not directly in my line of sight. If you get what I'm saying. Maybe if they switch the radio stack around. I have to try it with the GNS yet, so it may be a different layout with that. The GNS does take up the space as well. It fills up the blank space for you. Okay, we're picking up on the outer marker already. Landing lights are coming on. I'm not sure what it's doing at this point. I thought it was following the flight plan, but it's... It's not following it. It seems to have missed it. Let's go manual flying to try and remedy this confusion. It should have followed that route round in a sort of traffic pattern shape, but it hasn't. We turn the nav off on the directory and the vertical speed just to keep descending our sails to 4,000 feet. I'll follow round to I think it may have missed the waypoint. That's why it's got confused, because it's going direct to Delta. I don't know. Very odd, very odd. We have land at least. If we look on the map here, so the idea is to keep going round and then come down to final. I'm going to keep descending out to 3,000 feet. We're going to select the thing over here to nav. I'm going to arm the approach mode for the ILS. Landing lights are already on. It's 12 degrees, so we're going to turn the anti-ice off. A little bit of a hand flying didn't hurt anybody, did it? Especially in the old Citation jet. Okay, this thing should be picking up in the ILS. Both switch to navigation mode. 195. And down to 2,000 feet. Switch the autopilot back on at this point to see what it gives us on the guidance. Should be intercepting the ILS. It's a little bit all over. Just kind of point Torquesim's 525 through its paces at the moment. Okay, approach mode is arms. Excuse me, approach mode arms. 1 notch of flaps. Landing lights are on. Right, the pack safety belt sign is on. Coming up to the ILS capture, vertically at least. Can't see a single thing though because that glass. Let's get the shield round. How does that work? Well, you can't be messing around with that, can you? Because it end up crashing otherwise. It's not covering up the sun, is it? Jesus. Okay, we should be on the approach glide slope now. The aircraft isn't responding to it. It's not descending. Yeah, I got notch of flaps. It's doing a very poor job, I have to say, of capturing these ILSs. And it did a poor job of following the FMS as well. It may do it now because we're coming up to it, but it's missed the vertical one at least. Again, hand flying it. I don't even think it's working. It's not moving. This thing's not moving at all on the horizontal for the localizer. Maybe it's going to move now because we're getting closer to it. We'll set the go around height for 2,000 feet and we'll just do a left. We'll do a circuit pattern if we need to go around. Okay, gear coming down. There's the runway. Let's go full flaps. Let's get ignition on continuous. Rouge traffic, Golf 525 Sierras, final approach RLS, runway 26. I salvaged it a little bit at the end there, but it still wasn't great. Let's get this a nice butter landing. We'll do a quick turnaround, we'll put the rest of the fuel in. Only need about £300, we'll check how much we've got in the tanks. There's the middle marker. Really calm actually, really calm today on the handling. There's the minimums alert. No wind it feels like, and we've got like 5 knots. Here we are, we're going to do the flaps onto ground mode and that will deploy the spoilers as well. Need a lot of left rudder in there. I forgot to turn the yaw damper off, that's probably why. And we'll just let it slow down naturally and we'll take the next exit. Again, no idea where no idea where we're gonna park. I have to make do with the first one we can find. Strobes are coming off. Taxi lights. Transponder to ground mode. Flaps up. And we probably should turn the web radar off as well. Yeah, approach mode wasn't working there. The navigation wasn't working on the following the flight plan. See if it's any better going on the departure back to Biggin Hill. So it seems like mostly airliners. I have no idea where GA is. Is that GA? Right, we've got GA section down there. We're going to take commercial instead because we're wanting a short route back to the runway. We'll check out the replay as well in a moment. So I don't, again, no idea where we're going to just pick any spot. I think next to FedEx will do. They're going to be looking at us like we're crazy in this 525 though. We'll get the minimums alert back to 0. We're going to put the speed things, set the index back to 0. As you can see, the time there has gone ahead 1 hour. I don't know if anybody noticed it, but it's jumped ahead 1 hour because we're in European time now. Be aware, everybody, there's a delay on the chat, so that's why some messages will come through and it won't be lined up with what I'm actually saying at the moment. I think it's about 15 seconds. Okay, not bad. I don't think an airline could have gone here anyway. They've got all this baggage parked in the space. This is not good. This is a giant hazard. We're probably going to clip our wings in it. Anyway, we'll get parked up here, we'll get the parking brake on, take lights off. Continuous ignition, piece of heat should have come off when we clear the runway, or probably after landing. Avionics off. Shut the engine down. I'm going to leave the nav lights and beacon lights off while we do this. Instrument panel lights. It's not the end of the flight, folks. I'm just going to do some quick stuff to get it refueled. Hockey brake on, battery off. Okay, there she is. Weight and balance, so we got 800 and... actually, that probably is enough to get us there. I think we were more efficient because we flew a little bit higher up for longer. Technically, we should have enough to return. We only needed 700 to get there. So what I'm going to do is file a new one. I'm not going to take a break this time. But before we do that, let's watch the replay. Not bad. They a little bounce there on the wheel at the front. Like I say, calm winds. sort of. This is where things went wrong. So we got to the O&O when it was supposed to continue and then do a U-turn, but it's, as you can see there, it started to bang to the right rather than the left, and then this is where I sort of hand flew it around. Then we tried the autopilot again here, and it just wouldn't lock on even though it was flying in a straight line, so it didn't lock on by this point, so I took control of it and just did it myself. Some issues there, I think, on the navigation side of things, which need ironing out. Anyway, let me read the chat. So, welcome in. Yeah, I think running it around before the flight is demonstrated. Not the last thing one wants to be playing with unless you have someone in the other seat. True. Very nice landing, thank you. Awesome. So, chat is all caught up with. Let's pre-file this on the flight on the network. So we're going in the same one again, so 525 Sierra, and we'll do another IFR flight return to double check this back to Biggin Hill. Okay, that is literally everybody. Just quickly file in the flight plan. I think I might start changing that actually, so if I need to do a stopover like this, I'll show you what I'm doing. I think I did it before, but it's just because I've moved and everything is back to, wouldn't say back to normal yet, but it's just getting there. Not quite there yet. Okay, door locked, it takes its time, didn't it? Everything else is here still. This thing, I do like the brown colours, very nice detailing, and just generally looks very, very cool. This is one of my obviously this is the main livery. This is sort of like the main interior colours, but for me, this is the wood. The wood in this one is one of the best, and then the black one that we were in last time is also my favourite. Okay, back in, literally as simple as that. If we bring up the charts, we'll probably be able to see. See how much fuel we need. So EBOS back to Echo Kilo Bravo. Probably going to be about 700. We need less, so we've got enough. We actually need less fuel going back, which is interesting. This time we're only at 20,000 feet. I'm going to pre-select it now. UNS, as I say, doesn't save, so that will be reset when we turn it back on. The altitude doesn't reset either, so we set 20,000 on there. And we're just going to take our time today. So FMS. Beacons and nav lights are on. And we'll go for the right engine start again, very, very quick. We didn't change this for the pressurization, but it is actually normal. So when you descend, it will depressurize on its own, even if you forget to do that. Actually, the aircon's off for this. We could probably have turned it down a little bit. A little bit cooler here in Ostend, but we'll get there back to Biggin Hill and it'll probably be slightly warmer. London is generally quite a warm place in the south of England at least. Okay, engine start, so go for the left engine now. You see there, the fuel flow per hour when it's idle, £139. And then 600, I've rounded up to 600 per hour when you're in the cruise. Again, that will fluctuate depending on altitude, I suspect. It was good altitude, excuse me, a good amount to say 600 per hour. Very, very cool. We could technically get a pushback, but I don't think it works with this aircraft. Okay, inverters, avionics coming on. we're just going to squawk the same thing we were squawking then, so we'll just keep it on ground mode. Air conditioning back on. This isn't automatic for fans, but I'm going to put them on low. Off on the defog. Back into the UNS. Let's see what it's given us for departures. In fact, I just realised we could have got the ATIS information off of the flight plan. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. So Conum, we are doing the Conum again for Conum 4 Mike departure of 26. And then we're arriving 2-1 for the Conum 1 Charlie. So that's very interesting. All along the Conum route today. While we're at it, we may as well check the ATIS. There it is. So it's given us a V196, the VR98. Let's see how accurate that is. Obviously the weight and balance of the sim brief is different to what we're actually doing today. Thank God my microphone's on. 1021. Pretty much already set. And we'll go for the cruise winds again. And we'll make sure it's not too strong. So top of climb is 20,346, 24 knots. Again, I say pretty strong, but it is just because we're in a Citation 525. And it's a small plane, it gets pushed around a lot. So minus 23. Let's get it programmed in. Echo Golf. Departures. We're 26. Conan 4 Mike. Easy as that. And then across to... It doesn't have it, but we could put the arrival in. So Echo Golf. Kilo Bravo. And then over to the arrivals. And runway 21. Conan 1 shot. Okay, so I know ILS at I know the ILS thing at Biggin Hill. I know the approach is a little bit complicated. It's not straightforward, you might think. Well, we're going to do it anyway. Or we could do the VOR, or we could do the localizer. So we've got a few options there. We're going to do it ILS. I don't want to do any of these transitions, to be honest. Let's just see what it gives us on the route. If it's going to give us direct. Godlu, oh no, it's not going to send us out there, is it? So coming into London is a real pain in the ass, especially flying into places like Biggin Hill or London City. It usually vexes you out all the way across the ocean, and then you have to come back in at very slow speeds and just very uncomfortable doing it. It's a lot easier to fly direct, of course it is. Okay, we go over here. We're going to do the full map again. FMS, that would help. Right. Strange departure there. That'll be runway. I have no idea, but it's given us that for departure. Check it, there's no brakes again, so 500 feet, Conan, and then Godlu. Ooh, either way, ready to go. So transponders on, signal signs are on, taxi lights on. Everything else is pretty much where it needs to be. We could have reset the standby gyro if we turned it off and back on again, but I don't think there's any need to. We'll get the lights back on. And we'll plan our taxi route on X-Plains 12's map. So it looks like, again, we were pretty straight on track there at the end. I was quite impressed with that landing. So we'll turn around, we'll go down Kilo and then backtrack runway 26. It's got like a Mike taxiway there, maybe for some extra parking. Well, we don't need it. We'll taxi Kilo and then probably Lima 26. Parking brake released. Cool airport, first time here. I will fly back here at some point. Ostend, EBOS. If you've been there before, let me know what you think of the airport. If you've never been there, how did you find it today? I think X-Plane 12 generally is a good representation of airports. It's pretty accurate as far as I can tell. Manchester Airport in particular, and London City are two of the ones that I found really accurate. Gatwick as well, again spot on. And on Wednesday we've got the new airport in Spain there that I'm going to be trying out, the King Air 350, so some corporate King Air stuff on Wednesday coming up. Neutralize the trim. That's way too slow, isn't it, for a flyby? Especially if it's supposed to be doing a drive-by. I also don't know what's going on with the fly plan. It's doing that. Maybe it's just one of those airports that it can't connect the dots at. It's just very odd. We'll go for a normal one notch of flaps takeoff. We'll do the obviously continuous ignition. So basically the same kind of takeoff minus holding the brakes on. We'll just go straight away this time. There's no need to do the power up before. So we got 96% and then 101 for the VR speed. One notch of flaps. Transponder to altitude. We're going to do our strobes on. Landing lights coming on. Bruges Ostend traffic Golfs 525 Sierra departing runway 26. We'll go for navigation mode, vertical speed mode again, and we're just a little bit higher this time I think, or lower. So we were doing 2000 on departure from Biggin Hill. I think we should go for 1800, and even that's too quite steep for this kind of plane. I think 1500 is probably too steep as well. So we are real experience in this, and you know the prop climb out rate. Drop it in the comments. Heading mode 26. This is already pre-selected to 266, and course of 256 is what we need. So that'll be the runway heading. Please share Black Knight. What is funny? Maybe I've missed something. I've been getting grilled actually on YouTube lately. I don't know whether it's the same guy or woman, whoever it is, just keeps commenting on the channel and keeps saying, like, not really anything productive, but they've obviously not watched the video or stream, and they're just the comments are just out of this world insane. We're gonna do the full backtrack here. We'll go around Lima. Anyway, yeah, they've just been leaving comment after comment. Like, some of them have been alright, pretty neutral, but the last comment they left, I don't see the point of it. It's like they haven't watched the video at all. I think they said that I was in a Carinado when I was in a when I wasn't. I don't even have any Carinado products. But yeah, comments like that always baffle me, because the people, if they just paid attention to the stream of videos, they'd know what it was about. But then they go in the comments and they just sort of elaborate without much, without knowing much about it, which is unfortunate. I always say to them, come into the streams, come live and talk to me live. We're going to talk about it there, and if you got any problems with it, just tell me here. Okay, we're on the lineup. We're going to do full speed to 96.1 today, so a little bit lighter. We're doing continuous ignition, pitot heats, Landing lights, strobes, flaps are set to 1. And I'm going to hand fly departure up to probably about 10,000 feet. Yeah, airspeed's going to lie pretty quick. There's almost 96. 95, 96, 100 knots rotate. And positive rate gears coming up. Forgot to turn the sync off the engines, that's probably what's causing it. So we're about 97, which is fine. We're going to do the hand flow departure. Let's get the gear flaps up. We'll turn the ignition off. Back to normal. We turn our landing lights off. A little bit early today because we're flying in a smaller plane, but that's fine anyway. So here we go. We're on the departure. Climbing at 1500 feet a minute, not very steep because I can't see where I'm going. I'm also hand flying this thing. Navigation and vertical speed mode are armed. Ah, lovely, Brussels and Bruges. I haven't been to Bruges myself, but from what I've seen, it's one of those fairy tale towns, and it's very small. Okay, I can't see a thing. I'm going to do autopilot. As you see there, we're climbing a little bit quicker as well, which is a faster speed, which is kind of ideal. So usually we'd advance the throttles more, but I think we should continue with the thrust setting we've got. We're going to set standard pressure early. Straight up to 200, and then the arrival, again, I hope we've got the arrival charts, Conan 1 Charlie, looking it up nice and early today, so Kilo Bravo, same QNH almost. Right, there is unique Biggin Hill approach here, so we've got to go to this godforsaken Godlu, which this is what I'm talking about with London approaches, so Godlu, and then the dreaded Jackal over there, which I cannot stand, all the way into London City sometimes, and you've usually got to stick to 210 max, which is, it's not too bad in the 525, but if you're in a faster plane, it can feel like it's taken a couple of years. We are going to slow down a little bit, so let's reduce that power. Yeah, I wish London had a little bit of an easier to navigate airspace. A lot of convoluted approaches here, and that's not even where the airport is, by the way. You've got to fly all the way down to Ostend, and then the airport is sort of south. I think that's the airport there, isn't it? It's not even near it. We'll use the approach chart instead. That'll be a little bit easier. So 2-1. Again, this is the same no matter where you're coming from. It'll probably be the Alkin, and then we'll get established on the radials. I don't want to do a U-turn. I just want to go straight in here for runway 21. Okay, 250 on the indicator. That's fine. We'll maintain a little bit for faster climb now, 2,000 feet. It's 10 degrees, but it is cloudy out. It's kind of hazy actually, more than clouds. This is also a big, just a big problem I think in flying. I thought it was so cloudy yesterday, but it turns out it's this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to stick the anti-ice on and get that on early. So wings and engine anti-ice, and tail anti-ice on. Yeah, apologies, Blood Knight. As I say, there's a little bit of delay here before my on the stream, so when I speak it's 15 or 20 seconds or so behind. Doesn't look too bad, alright. I've been to Bruges, yeah, I read that. That is one cool looking plane, there's no doubt about it. Have we got the yaw damper on? Yes, we have. I just didn't switch it on myself. Anyway, cool looking plane despite its flaws. I do like it a lot. Conan 1 Charlie is the rival. So like I say, it's just the Conan today. Godlu. Actually, there's a good point. It did say Conan 1 Charlie, didn't it? On the rivals. Or is that talking about the departure as well? Because I was under the assumption that it was 4 Mike for departure and 1 Charlie for arrival. I also wish there was a better way to see this flight plan. This sort of ring zoom in thing is not practical. Either way, we're coming in here to the south, so we changed the clock here back to GMT. We've been 55 minutes, which is not, again, not too bad. We're actually under schedule here. We're on time. Usually a flight like this might take like 3 hours. Engine sync coming back on. We mustn't forget to turn this off on landing and takeoff. It's pretty crucial actually, just in case we have engine issues. I also now have over 300 hours on this network, which is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Over 320 hours have been logged. I accidentally filed the flight plan, I think, under the air guard. For some reason it says for pilot information, then it says airline, United States Air National Guard. I did not realise that. I must have selected it when I put the flight plan information in on SimBrief. That's funny, isn't it? Probably don't wonder what we're doing flying in Europe. Yeah, looking on the flight plan though, not much is coming up on the map in terms of the arrival, so I might just do, provided there's no ATC, I might just do a hand flown one down to 2-1 rather than the actual ILS approach. For a visual approach, I mean. Anyway, let's close out. We checked the flight plan. It was about 200 nautical miles there and back, which is again pretty good for speed and distance. Pressurization, oh no. Already set to 20,000 C, I'm well ahead of myself, so 2,000 feet a minute. I don't know what the cruise will be now. We had about 90% at the N1 when we were on the way there, so possibly the same altitude, same speed, same burn here, a little bit more than 600 pounds. A slowly ascent rate of 1,200 feet a minute. Guys can keep out relax. I'll put the lights on, but I'll leave the seatbelt signs off, so you see they're illuminated. silent. So I'm going to do the heading mode. I'm just going to keep us on track here. It's a little bit turbulence again. 2-1, right, there's going to be an RLS approach. We want to preempt this. I'm going to use this little thing here for the localizer, so we can change this to... Technically there is an official course for it, and it's, you know, here somewhere, so it'd be 205. We can't do it exactly 205, we can do it pretty close. 205, and then this will, of course, be a good reference, secondary reference. I actually do use this as the primary instrument, because this thing is not always accurate, I have to say. Like, when we were trying to intercept it before at Bruges, it wasn't... It kept doing the similar thing to this. It was bouncing all over the place. Anyway, go down to the FMS. We'll check. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. We are entering the UK again, unfortunately. So, everybody strap in. Stay safe. Godlu, and there's nothing else after it. It just literally says to Godlu and then centre fix. That's so peculiar, isn't it? Ah, and then here it's saying... So that's very odd. It says final fix and then runway 21. Surely it should be here. And it's giving us tunnel at Alkin for the go-round. Well, surely that should be on the approach rather than the go-round. Alkin and tunnel. So that, I guess, yeah, if we were going round, we'd circle back. This is what this line is for, and then we'll go radio 046 to Alkin. Then tunnel, look at the snake there, back to runway 21. Of course, it's not always practical to do these things. We might also be given instructions just to fly around a circuit, so we could go left hand. I think it is a left hand circuit, back to that, and then back to final. Anyway, straight from Godlu to Rival is not complaining about it. That's absolutely fine. This does have speed restriction as well, so I think it's about 200 and... There it is, so max 180 for holding and procedure, max 160 for misapproach. So we can only maintain 160 max until we go back to the tunnel, which is fine. Again, we're in a slow enough jet. VORDME Biggin Hill, we can tune that in while we were flying in to it, so 115. Do it on the second one, 11510. It's now been picked up, and we should tune the RLS frequency in as well, so 10935. And that's been picked up down here. I don't know if you can see it. It's now picked it up here for us to land. And then when we come into land, we'll probably come down all the way down to the end, and then taxi back over to Juliet 1, where this is where the Jet X FBO is, so we can park our jet there. Okay, here we go. So down to 2,000 will be alright, 2,000 feet. $1,800 feet a minute. Ah, cheers, Black Knight. Echo Go Kilo Bravo 2370 2300 at 7 knots. Not bad. 13 over 5 1020 3 knots and 21. Brilliant. So I've got QNH 1020. Look at this. I think we picked a fantastic time to come down here. I really do. It's not even sunset yet, and it looks gorgeous. Is this really a sim though? Blimey, we're overspeeding like crazy. Is this a sim or is this real life? It certainly feels very, very real. Right, we're going to do the pressurization. I'm going to just reduce these throttles right down now for the descent. Ah, no, we're not overspeeding. So this happened... this actually happened on one of my other flights. The co-pilot's airspeed thing broke. It's now saying pilot airspeed indicator, so that would be the co-pilot or the sort of backup instrument. But that did happen on another flight. even though we had pitot heat on, even though we had anti-ice on. So that could be potentially another bug. We'll set minimums 200 feet again. Reduce the temperature of the cabin a little bit. We'll use the weather radar as well. And now it's raining, as expected. We can go down here, pull this thing up, and that will open. That will open those little things at the front of the windshield. That will allow the alcohol and the sort of thing to be sprayed onto the window if you need it. We'll keep them on low though on blower. I guess we could select alcohol on and then see what happens on it. Zero 20. Strange approach there. Hope we can manage it. It was struggling on the mid one. Right, radar's coming on for this one. We want to make sure it's going to be clear. We can see visually, sure, but we've still got stuff to be concerned about. There might be some heavy weather there we can't see. We're also going to tilt it slightly up 7 degrees. Engine sync's coming off. We didn't forget this time. ATC, right, forgot about ATC. We've not got anybody online here at the moment. There's no ATIS information. Appreciate that though, Black Knight in chat. Really good to have that on hand. We can, of course, as I mentioned before on some of the previous streams, we can in fact get this information off the flight plan if we need to. This is where we get the ATIS from. Got departure information there, and we also have arrival, so it gives us the QNH as well. It also gives us the wind, and it gives us the outside air temperature. I'd say that's pretty damn accurate.
3-2 Golf, ILS runway 27 right, 5 miles to go.
We need to descend quicker, so we're going to do 2,500 feet a minute. We'll get the spoilers out.
Traffic speed by 3 to go, runway 27 right, 3 miles, finals to land.
You could hear his aircraft then approaching runway. Imagine if we could hear it, we heard this stall alarm go off and then all chaos breaks loose. But not on the network, of course. We had to be boring on this network, nothing fun can happen, no emergencies, anything like that. This is so confusing. Look at this. I don't have a clue what these lines are. These are the go-around lines, but like, where's the runway in all of that? Ah, there it is, final. So it looks like it's a left-hand turn there to final. And again, the course is 205, so we turn it to 205. I do love Biggin Hill. I as I say before, Guernsey is my main one, but Biggin Hill is certainly a place I fly from often.
Traffic speed bird 769 at 10 mile, final runway 27 right.
Yeah, we're coming down to the correct speed. We want to be below 200 there to get that first notch of flap, so we're going to retract the speed brakes. Landing lights are coming on. We probably don't need that alcohol thing on the windshield or the anti-ice on at this point. I'd say it's just as important to close it as well, because there could be debris that gets in there, there could be something that breaks it. I'd say it's pretty clear, we don't need the weather radar anymore. That's coming off. That's also something that should probably be off before landing. Pressurization, let's set it down to 0. We check the cabin is in fact depressurized. So as you can see there's just a tiny little bit left. If we wanted to, we could dump the rest of the pressure. But it looks like it's coming down on its own. Okay, there's the turn. We are very, very high up. I can see the runway a little bit too high.
2302 line up 26 left, Gatwick for departure. Speedbird 32 Golf, vacating runway 27 right at Heathrow via Alpha 10.
We're going to switch over to approach mode and switch this to nav. Again, very, very high up. Had to get the gear down a little bit early for this one. Continuous ignition is coming on.
Heathrow traffic speedbird 769 at 5 mile, final runway 27 right.
I think it has just about locked on to the ILS, but it's again really, really high up, so I'm going to do the autopilot off.
Speedbird 2302 Gatwick tracking 26 left. Departure.
We probably have to do a go around at this point because we're too high up. Well, then again, we may be able to salvage it. It's just the speed I'm concerned about. There we go. Speed burns off. If it hasn't burned off by the time we get to short final, which is like less than a minute away, obviously the runway's there, then we'll have to do a go around. Speed isn't burning off. Have we got... Okay, so pilot airspeed indicators broke. The actual co-pilot one is working. That's why I'm getting confused. So I thought it was the co-pilot's one that's broke. It's actually the pilot's one that's broke, and the co-pilot one is functional. Gear up. I knew we were going to do a go around because the instruments aren't working, so full power. Flaps up a notch, gear is up. We'll go back up to 2,000 feet, we'll do a left hand turn. We'll imagine we're going to fly back to that waypoint, but in fact we're probably better off just doing a circuit. That's where the confusion comes in. So when we were on the cruise, it was this one that was broke.
Traffic off Bold Foxtrot Road.
It actually is mine that is.
26 left, Gatwick.
I'm going to do it continuous ignition back to normal in the meantime. So we're going to go head in mode, vertical speed. There we go, I'm going to do a left hand turn. I don't actually like the failures. I know it's a natural thing that can happen, but it's happened on this aircraft a few times now with the indicated airspeed things broken.
Gatwick traffic, Golf moving to taking off 26 left, Gatwick.
I don't even think the aircraft knows which one's broken, to be fair. We'll have to use the backup one. It's a shame it's not down here. It really is. We could quick fix it. Welcome in, Jev and Barrett. Does this have GPS? Yes, it does. There are multiple options available. You have this one, which is just a basic radio stack. And then you have the Garmin or GNS Let me go up here and show you. So go onto the main menu. So you have the GNS 530. I'm in the standard edition, which is a basic radio stack. Then you have an option for GTN 750 or GTN 750 XI. There is a star there, which means that these are payware add-ons. Don't get the aircraft if you want to use the GTN 750 without purchasing it first. I'd use the GNS 530. I'd used the GNS 530 before, but myself and I think other people, I didn't personally have any issues with it, but I think other people did, where it wasn't giving you the correct readings, which is, I think, pretty standard for this aircraft. This aircraft has quite a few issues. Right, we're going around at about 2,000 feet. We're just going to have to best guess this. I could fix the airspeed indicators, to be fair, and make it a little bit easier on ourselves. So this is where we say there's rough weather, this will be above us, everybody. So here we are. We did actually come round pretty good down Godlu, and then for a nice approach, just a little bit too, at least I thought it was a little bit too fast, but it actually turns out it was fine. Okay, we're going to slow back down. We'll get down to about landing speeds of 103. Minimums are set. Keep your eye, if you are obviously just joining, or if you're here, just keep an eye on the right one. That is the one we're using. Next, VNAV leg invalid. Again, I think this is a Torquesim thing. They don't have up-to-date information sometimes. We'll see if it changes over time. Let's go ahead and reduce our power. 7 knot wind. One notch of flaps. One lights are still on. This blind spot here is also very deadly. Can't see much out of it. Keep an eye out for the airport. Shame there isn't any other traffic in the area we could have used. If we go to navigation mode now, I'll switch over to nav mode and arm it. It should intercept it at this angle. We are coming in that general direction. One notch of laps is down. We are going a little bit slow, but we're still above our landing speed of 103. We're about 120 knots. It is very, very difficult to see with the sun, though. Can't see a single thing there. We put our sunshades on, sunglasses. Yes, we can, so that actually makes it a little bit easier. But it darkens the cockpit though, that's the problem. Come on aircraft, intercept it please. Don't want to keep using that, because it's not the way to do it.
Gatwick traffic in the 54 Limit Foxtrot lining up runway 26 on left for takeoff Gatwick traffic.
Again, just putting the Torquesim 525 for its paces. There's the airport. I'm going to just do what we do best, just hand fly it. Real shame though, I do want to rely on the automation and the autopilot a little bit. Leave the approach mode arms, we'll do the is that the airport? Yeah, it is. We'll do the ignition onto continuous and we'll get the gear down. We're within about 6 nautical miles, that's probably a good distance I think.
Traffic Roll Express 315, pushing back snap Fox 605 to face east on Sierra. Evo traffic.
Beautiful hand flying, very responsive aircraft. There we got 3 greens, so we're going to do probably wait a little bit longer actually, although at this speed we can go full flaps and it'll be fine. Just need to add a bit of pitch in there and descend at a very steady rate. Landing lights are already on. Biggin air traffic Golf 525 Sierra, final ILS runway 21.
Gatwick traffic is the 54 Lima Foxtrot climbing 4000 outbound runway 26.
There we go, a bit more stable line, it's got a good indication of the speed. We're actually right on landing speed at the moment. You can see over there, right on target for it. Okay, yaw damper's coming off for this one. Autopilot is fully disconnected. We probably don't need the approach mode on there. It's not actually giving us that much guidance. As you can see, it's telling us to. It's like moving the FD is moving at the same pitch as I'm pitching at, which is not correct. It should be moving independent of it.
Gatwick traffic, well in fact, around the Garden runway 26 left, 5 months.
Nice little runway, nice little airport. There we go, runway 21. Minimums, we'll continue this one. We'll continue down. There we go, we're going to do full flaps and a little bit of braking, just because it's a shorter runway. Again, the aircraft does have a tendency, it depends on how you brake, but it does have a tendency to veer off left or right. There we go, and again, we can't rely on our indication of airspeed, so we'll make do with the one. Okay, flaps coming back up. Get the landing lights, taxi lights. So it's 2 taxi lights. I'm going to turn the air conditioning off. We probably don't need it at this point. And you know what? Let's get the transponder to ground mode or mode Charlie. We'll vacate left. As planned, we'll go down Juliet to Jet X.
EG54 Lima Foxtrot climbing 5,000 under the 41 mic departure Gatwick.
That's a very good call out, I have to say. That pilot did a very good job. Maybe not Juliet, maybe just down this one's a bit easier. Okay, strobes are coming off.
Freeway traffic, I'm at 33, we're going to be lining up 26 left behind, departing Willing A320, Gatwick.
That flyby, I wish that was closed, so I don't know how... Ah, we can change it. What am I on about? There we go, drive-by, proper drive-by. Well, it's in one piece. That's the best I can do. There we go. So this is for some reason squawking that. We needed to squawk 7,000. Transponder to standby. Continuous ignition. Pitot heats off. I think I forgot that when we landed at Bruges as well. I'm going to turn the nav lights off when we get to ground and parking. So right round here. We should have our own space. It looks like we have. We got our own space here, Jet X. I've actually reviewed a few aircraft here before, and I've done a few flights here before. This particular space is it's always been that space where I can do an aircraft review, or at least initial checkout, checking in the aircraft for wear and tear, etc. So there's the stall warning because we've not got the functional airspeed indicator. That's very interesting, isn't it? That is so the actual aircraft got confused. It initially said the second one was broke when it was the first one. Like the actual indication on the second one was broke. Now it seems to think I'm stalling. Anyway, now the lights are coming off. We will score VFR. That is, I don't know how to express it. Even if there was an indication broke, it wouldn't be doing that. So, marker beacons have failed. Pilot, oil speed, and autopilot servers. That's probably because it's switched off. I shut the engines down. That's still not fixed it. There's definitely some bugs in there. Torquesim to iron out. I think we can all agree on that. But funny bugs, funny bugs. Just thankfully they're not in the real plane. I mean, if this was real life, obviously you'd be pretty screwed if you're flying Torquesim. Windshield heat is off. I'm going to turn the generators off because I plan on using the GPU next flight. All the lights are coming off. The panel lights. Standby gyro. And control lock in. So the old 525 here is going for maintenance by no fault of my own, I might add. We'll disconnect the battery on the switch so that non-pilots can't fly it. The sign and the sunscreen on. I did put the control lock on, didn't I? Yeah, there's something going on there. Torquesim, even the control lock wasn't working. There we go. Okay, everybody, welcome. I'll chuck her up. I would love to hear those the metal sounds of the engines still. I think they should have kept them in. They were very, very nice. Well, here she is. This is where we departed from, Biggin Hill. We've had a flight over to Bruges. I'll clean up the aircraft afterwards. You know, I'll close the blinds and close the door and let people go. We could probably let them go now, actually, while you guys are here. So I'm going to drain them out. And we still have about £500 in each wing, which is more than enough to take us on another flight. Possibly up to the north, maybe to Manchester or something like that. Come on, 0. 0, 0, 0. Yep, back from Bruges after a return trip there. I think very good flight overall. A nice little go round at Biggin Hill for a little bit of practice, but overall we did pretty well on landing. Let's go ahead and watch it. Absolutely incredible. That's not too bad, actually. The nose wheel, I think that's just a tendency of the aircraft. It kind of looks like it's bouncing, but I think that might just be a little bit of smoke underneath it. It does tiny bounce, but it's not getting off the ground. Very good touchdown. Anyway, thank you for being here, everybody. I really appreciate being here. All the regulars, all the newcomers. If you have enjoyed this flight, yeah, come along to the next one. And Wednesday, we've got the King Air 350. Looking forward to getting back in it, but it's going to be... I feel like a learning challenge because I've not flown it for a couple of weeks, so got to remember all the checklists and all the procedures. But when we return, it will be a good flight. So if you like I say, if you've enjoyed this with more return trips in the future, I think the Citation 525 is a nice one to do some small trips in. Anyway, guys, take care and see you later.